Hello, hello. Let's see. Is it just me? Susan's here. Chriselle. Chriselle, yeah. Did I say it
Crashlia.
right? Chrisia.
Crashlia, yeah. Don't worry about it.
I love that. Where are you located?
I'm in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I love Puerto Rico. I love it. I love Puerto Rico. I was surprised. I didn't know what to expect when I went years ago. I had the best time. I'm not just saying that. I had the
Oh,
best time.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, I had the best time. The best time. The best
It's so hot right now. You don't want to be here.
time.
Trust
I'm in
me.
Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta, hot Atlanta. So it's hot here as well. I think it's hot
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
what I've
sure.
been hearing.
For sure. Hi, Susan Donaldson.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What does everybody do?
I'm I was a program specialist
Hmm. Okay.
at
What you do?
CDC.
CDC. Okay.
Hmm.
What
I
about you?
was a project officer
Hmm.
at HRSA.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Sorry about everything that's happening. I know you guys are
Mm.
resilient, though. We're hanging in there, right? Doing the best we can.
Yeah, this is my first actually webinar workshop attending, so I'm excited.
Okay. It's super informal. This one, this particular one is all about Q&A. So I'm all yours. Any questions? I know some of you have probably been on tons of webinars and gotten resources and things like that, but I promise this is super informal, nothing structured. Samara, who is hosting this, she has a lot of trainings that we'll be doing in the coming weeks. So definitely, if you're not in the community, join us. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see. Anybody in Atlanta? We got Puerto Rico in the building. Look at Bree. I apologize. You're not getting any audio.
Morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. Jonathan, I can hear her fine. Oh, I guess I can should put that in the chat,
I'm not getting any audio. So, Jonathan, it might be on your end. Hey, Lindsay. Um, so this is super informal, you all. This is Q&A. Ask me anything. I've been recruiting, talent acquisition, staffing, whatever you want to call it, for decades, decades and decades and decades. So I started in, hold on, let me grab this right here. Any questions that you have around staffing, recruiting, feel free to come on camera. This is super informal. Oh, you can hear? Okay, fantastic. This is for you. So questions that you want to ask a recruiter. I've been in the public and the private sector. I've been in staffing, recruiting, fancy word, talent acquisition now for over 30 years. I've done all types of work from project-based work, consulting, contracting, as well as fractional. So have ran the gamut in terms of work types. And for a lot of you that are in this space of kind of, thinking about what's next, maybe you're in limbo or just uncertain, starting with your skills and assessing your skills is what I share with my clients and the folks that I work with in terms of what to do. But ask questions. This is what this is. Super informal, super informal. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me. Okay. Some are getting audio and some saying they're not. If you can hear me, drop a one so everybody knows that it may be on their end. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Questions, come off camera. This is a conversation, y'all. This is a conversation. I saw you, Melinda. I saw you. Come off camera, open your mics. What questions you got? Or drop them in the chat if you want to stay behind the camera. It's all good. I'm happy to answer anything. Oh, you're good. Okay, Samira says she's good. What's happening, Melinda?
So I guess I can start it off. I mean, the biggest question I have, is really what skills are recruiters looking for the most, that that federal employees can bring. You know,
Mhm.
with this market being so saturated now with all of us, how do we
Mhm.
stand out in our skills?
Great question. Great question. We want to start with not what recruiters are looking for, but the market, right? Where is their demand in the market currently? And a way to figure out where demand is to follow the money, right? So you can take a look at that 1,000-page bill that's happening. That's one. You can also look at the stock market. You can check out different sectors and industries, but a clue is always going to be where the money is flowing, where the money is being allocated from the government. So for instance, I have a community that I host where people hire me kind of as their headhunter. I did a session last night where I talked about big business and I was showing them how to look at mergers and acquisitions. You see a lot of that, right? You see companies where they'll buy another company, they'll merge with a company, or they'll acquire a company. A company that I watch because of the space that I'm in is Korn Ferry. How many of you have heard of Korn Ferry? It's a recruiting firm. Drop in the chat. Yes, if you've heard of Korn Ferry before. No, you never heard of?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
It's a recruiting firm. So for my space, I look at the recruiting firms and I look to see how they're doing in terms of their profit and earnings and things like that. And I follow that because I know if they're making money, they're hiring somewhere. Long answer to your question, Melinda. You want to look at stock market is a perfect place as well. If you see all the FANG companies, all the tech companies, if you look at the stock market, they're holding up the stock market right now. All your big companies, Apple and Google and Microsoft. That's a sector you want to focus on. So you may say, well, Kelly, I worked in federal government. I was a program analyst or I was a director of operations. I don't have that. Inside of every company, there's a marketer, there's an HR person, there's a salesperson, there's an operations person. You want to go to the sector and industry where the money is flowing, Melinda. I'm answering your question. So that would be healthcare. I'm going to give you three. These are your top three. Write this down. Don't say I didn't tell you. Finance, healthcare, and tech. Big money, right? That's where you want to go. You want to start there. So, okay, Kelly said, okay, I'm going to start here, right? This is the industry. That's the sector I'm going to be in. Sector is first. Then you come down to industry. You're in healthcare. Now you want to figure out, okay, which of these companies do I want to, is it a public or private? Where do I want to go, right? Then you whittle it down. You see how I'm coming down here? So again, long answer to your question, where is the money being allocated? Where is it flowing? I just told you three: healthcare, finance, banking, and tech. Tech is coming back around. There was a tech burst or a bubble in early 2008, then it kind of went down. Now it's going back up. If you look at all the people that was sitting behind President Trump during the inaugural session, it was Zuckerberg, it was Bezos, it was all of them. That's a clue. That's a clue. You think about crypto, he talks about that all the time. This is where you want to be. Did that help, Melinda? Where'd you go? That's where you start. That's how you start
Yeah.
thinking. And then, okay.
That's
So again,
kind of-
don't,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Melinda. Where are you?
No, that's kind of what I'm seeing too when I'm looking at the jobs, is those three areas.
Mm-hmm. So if you're on job boards, and I know that's what we're accustomed to doing, I know we're accustomed to doing that, but I want you, everybody, not just Melinda, think more strategic than tactical. We are reactive just as human beings. We want to do something, and we all feel like there should be something I'm doing. I promise you, the best way for you to stand out is to take a minute and pause. I call it pausing for the cause. Get more strategic than tactical. If you're my age, I'll be 56 tomorrow. If you are Gen X and you know, the summers behind you are more than in front of you, you have to be more strategic and think about that. I can stay on this all day. Let me keep going. Go ahead.
Hi.
Yes, Don. Hi.
I have a question. Do you have any recommendations about how to beat the bot? I understand that a lot of companies are using AI to screen through resumes, to screen through cover letters. Do you have any recommendations specifically about how we can leverage technology to our advantage and beat the bot?
Beat
that
the
make sense?
bot. I like that. Dawn. One, all companies are using AI in some form or fashion. What you want to do now is you want to do the reverse. You want to become more human than AI. Everybody's going to use ChatGPT to do their resume. They know. I'm telling you, they know. As a matter of fact, if you're applying to jobs, tell me in the chat if you've seen this, where it'll say, "Are you okay if we use AI?" Something like it'll give you a little thing. You have to click opt in or opt out. You haven't seen that yet, Bree?
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
you seen it?
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, yeah. It'll ask you now. It'll tell you, hey, and imagine this, you all. Here's a little hint. What if you opt out? What do you think is going to happen?
You won't
I
get reviewed.
You got it. You
All
got
right,
it.
what exactly was the question? Can we use AI to scan your resume or what's
So
the
when you're
question we're opting in or out of?
So when let's say you apply on Indeed, you apply to a job, right? And once you apply, you fill out all your information. There's going to be a pop-up, and it's not just Indeed. I'm just giving you an example. It'll be a pop-up, and it'll say, what will it say? Who said yes? Who's seen it?
seen it several times in Indeed.
It'll say, have you we scan resumes using AI. I'm paraphrasing,
Yeah.
but something to that effect. Would you like to opt in or opt out? So you have a choice, but I want you to think about this. Imagine the people that say, no, don't scan me. Where do you think your resume is going to go? It's still going to go through for sure.
Hopefully
But I'm
to a
about,
human,
yeah,
right?
hopefully, Melinda, hopefully. Yeah, Bree. I think you're on mute.
I think
Mhm.
somebody else may have had their hand up too. But so and there are a couple of questions in the chat for you as well, Kelly. So
Thank
I
you,
don't
Bree.
happy almost birthday. And thank you for doing this
You're
today.
welcome.
My question is this, and I don't want to completely derail the conversation about AI, but I have kind of so I mean, a lot of us get into public service for very specific reason. We are mission driven. That's what we want to do. That's what I'm looking for. So right now I'm kind of focusing my search on, because I did federal grants management for the last 3.5 years. I'm very much a generalist, but that's kind of where I'd like to keep going with my career is grants management stuff. So I'm looking at program officer, those types of roles in the philanthropic sector with foundation.
Awesome.
Any recommendations around that? Because I am looking for mission driven work. Public health is not the place to look right now. State and local health departments, that sort of thing. Any recommendations about how to I'm working on networking, but on where to look, how to
I think you're spot on.
how to better market myself.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. When you think about foundations, philanthropic efforts, not every, corporations have a nonprofit arm. So you're right on there when you're thinking about foundations, think about nonprofits, think about social corporate responsibilities, SCRs. So when you think about applying to roles, you want to, again, think about that funnel, just come down a little bit. And when you're plugging into LinkedIn, or if you're on a job board, or even if you're on ChatGPT, you can ask it for a list in your area of SCR, social corporate responsibilities, mission-driven companies, right? Foundations, philanthropic, you can say corporations that have a philanthropic arm or foundation arm. Now, they're not going to be plentiful as, just the corporation itself, but I would start there and get your list. I call it a Dream 100 when I'm working with people. I get my list of 100 companies and then go to their sites. I prefer company websites over job boards any day. any day. One, because some of them could be scammy, even on LinkedIn, because it's a business. LinkedIn is a tech company that has a job board, right? So when you think about that, so I just gave you, go to ChatGPT, let it work for you. You guys don't work hard. You've been through enough. So let it do that part for you. Get your list together. When it gives you that list, go and see, what opportunities are there that align with what you do. Now, again, I'm gonna be honest, they're not plentiful, but it's a start. You do have options, right? And when you're marketing yourself, you lead with that. So on your resume and all your, if you have a cover letter and all your other documentation that you're sending out, remember, they don't know you. So it doesn't matter if you're in your head and you're like, I can do it. But just give me a chance and I can do it, because we think like that. But you have to remember, when it comes to us as recruiters, we have no clue who you are. So you have to tell us. And you want to lead with impact. I know most of you are from the, public sector, but in the private sector, we're looking for results, achievements, and outcomes. Most professionals that are in the public sector, working in the federal government, responsibilities, tasks, and duties. That's the difference. Lead with impact. Give me some quantifiable data points. Tell me what the results were. Tell me what the outcomes were. So when you ask me about marketing yourself, this is how you do it. And that's something I can support you with too if you're interested. I'll drop my link in the chat for anybody that wants to have a private, specific, tailored kind of outcome driven when it comes to what do you do next. That's something we could talk about as well. But on your own, I would start there. Did that help, Brittany?
Yes, it did. Thank
Okay.
you. And I apologize. I may have kind of overrun you finishing
No, you're fine. I just
Dawn's
get, you
question.
can tell I'm
'Cause I
passionate
don't,
about it, right?
I don't know if we
start-
finished answering Dawn's question. Sorry.
Yeah, could you finish answering the original question that I had about AI, about beating the bot? You posed the question, but I just wanted to, I think you were in the middle of a thought.
Sure. So in terms of beating it, I don't think there's a such thing. You can't beat it. It's there, it's not going anywhere. So when you apply to a role, they being companies, they have an applicant tracking system. And in order to, what do I want to say? What am I looking for? In order to weed out is the first word that comes to mind. To weed out people, because it is what it is, you all. They will rank people. So there's a brand of an applicant tracking system called iCIMS. When I worked as executive leader at Microsoft, iCIMS is the big boy when it comes to that. And it'll rank people. As recruiters, I had over 60 roles open, right? And so each role had thousands upon thousands of people because they want to work at Microsoft. I'm not going through all those applications. So for those of you that feel I'm getting ghosted and nobody's responding back to me, you're being ranked, you're being assessed on keyword, to answer your question, Dawn, keywords, keyword phrases, how your resume is structured, and if it's organized in a way that showcases impact. So on my end, because I also have a seat, it's called a seat on LinkedIn. When I'm on the back end of LinkedIn and I'm looking at everybody on LinkedIn, I'm looking for a specific role, I'm putting in skills. And what most people do is they go to job boards and they put in their title. But guess what? It's not called that over here. It's only called that where you were working. So you're leaving a lot of options on the table when you don't plug in your skills first. You can do this on the job boards as well. Just put the skills in and let it give you options. So that's a way to beat the bot. Let it give you options so that now you know, and it kind of opens up your mind around, oh, I didn't think about this title. I didn't think about, applying here. But every company, most companies now, they're going to have some type of AI feature to screen candidates or applicants when they come in and before you become a candidate. So it's not about beating it, it's about positioning yourself so that you are the best fit for the role. And that comes with ensuring that your resume is structured and organized in a way that it showcases those three things that I shared, which are outcomes, results, and achievements. And it just impact if you were to package that. Is that helpful? Did I answer your question? Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's it, Christina. That's it. Show, don't tell. Samira.
Hi, Kelly. We have a couple hands here. I want to make sure, and then a couple of questions in the chat too, from Lindsay, but I believe
Okay.
Isaac may have been next. I'm
I
not
can't
sure.
see hands, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't even, I don't.
Okay, I'll help you out here. Yeah, so Isaac, we have a hand from Isaac.
Yeah, how long, thank you for doing this. How long do you should we make our resume? I'm used to being in academia and government where it's like, 15, 20 pages. I've heard from some, 2, I've heard from some a 3-pager is okay, from some I don't, what's the typical? I mean,
Yeah, for
I can
sure.
make it however long they want it, but
For sure. Isaac said, I'll just give you what you want. 2 pages is what I say. Two pages. And if you can, just go back 10 years, no more than. We don't want to have a cluttered resume. Remember, they're not going to read the whole thing, you all. We just don't. And I'm telling you the facts. They're not reading the entire document. It's not going to happen. So what you want to do is, just like if you have Outlook, you know how you get a preview of the email first before you click it and it opens all the way up? That's what happens when we're searching on the back end. And let me tell you this, Isaac, don't let me lose my point because I'll go off. In LinkedIn, when we're looking for candidates, we get a preview. We get a list and it's just a preview. So that top quarter page of your resume, of your LinkedIn profile, same is true in the applicant tracking system. They only see the top quarter part. Make that thing, it should stand out, right? So 2 pages, Isaac, go back 10 years or less. You can do it. If you feel as if you can't, that tells me that you're trying to put everything on that document and they're not going to read the entire page, you all. It's not happening. It's not happening. So what that means is, okay, Kelly, what do I need up there? You need that impact, right? Your summary. What does your resume profile say? Is it a chronological resume? Is it function-based? Is it a hybrid between the two? You have to think about, where am I going next? What do I want to do next? The best way to think about that is 2 things. Get clarity on what value you bring. Most people don't have clarity and they don't know their values. Just 2 things. I've been doing this a long time and I have just whittled it down to those 2 things. Because once you're clear, that's your North Star. You don't look left, you don't look right. Like Isaac just said, I've heard this, I've heard this, I've heard this. And while I'm on that point, another tip, because I know there's a lot of people in the market right now, people will prey on you all, okay? Because there's a lot of, it's a lot of people being let go and laid off. You want to align yourself and take in information that aligns with you and who you are, right? And you can tell, you're smart, you can tell when people feeding you surface level stuff. They should have depth. They should have depth of knowledge to what they're sharing with you, not 3 steps to this. Okay, why? Tell me why am I doing that? And also, people that are, say this the right way, that are, I'll just say, in alignment with you. And what I'm thinking about is, if they haven't been on earth as long as you, they may not have the things that are top of mind for you right now. So again, if you're Gen X, if you're a baby boomer, we're thinking about retirement. We're thinking about funding our future. Some of us are taking care of our parents. Some of us have grandkids. So these are things that are important to us. And so you want to listen to people that can help you with that thought process. I'll just leave that there for interpretation, if that makes sense. Who we got next? Isaac, did that help? Let me know in the comments so you can say.
that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kelly. We have a question, a hand from Santos Sanchez. Who's next?
Yeah,
Hi,
hi,
Santos.
Kelly. Thank you for doing this.
welcome.
So going back to outcome results achieved, so going back to the impact statement on your resume, the way I have it structured is I have like an introduction of who I am, it's probably like 5, 6 lines, then skills, and then when I have the first or my current position, I do have a statement about the campaign I work on and results.
Mhm.
But hearing you makes me feel like I should move that to the top. Is that should I do that? Is that, you think that'll be more impactful than having them go through perhaps half of the page to learn about the impact about that specific campaign?
So you have your resume title. Is that what you're sharing with me? And then you have go ahead.
Mhm.
And you have a summary right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that summary, does it just talk about that one campaign or just about Santos?
It's about Santos. It's about my 15-year career.
Perfect.
And a summary of everything. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, 3 sentences. We don't want to give them a whole book. 3 sentences and answer one question. Just answer this one question. What's in it for me? That's what the company wants to know. And that's the question you're answering in that professional summary. So I'm looking at Santos' resume and I'm thinking, okay, what's in it for me, Santos? What value are you going to add to me, my company, my team, my business unit, my department? And you're going to tell me in that sentence, and you're going to start with an action verb: led, streamlined, implemented. All of those are action verbs, right? You could been in a role for, I don't care that I've been doing this for 30 years. If I'm not giving you value, it doesn't matter how long you do a thing. You've met people, you've met mechanics that are no good and they've been doing it for 50 years, right? So it's great that we put how long, but give me some impact in there. Make sense, Santos? So to
Yes,
answer your
thank
question,
you.
keep that at the top. You can also put right below that, people call it different things, career highlights. And you can highlight all of like 4, maybe 3 to 4 highlights throughout your career. Doesn't matter if it happened back in 1994, I worked for Accenture and I was a consultant. That's relevant to what I do now because people want to know different options that they have, right? So I'll use that as a career highlight. Helpful? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. I can see Santos' hands, but I can't see any other hands.
We have one more hand from Jennifer.
Okay.
Jennifer, do you want to come on?
Yes. So thank you so much, Kelly. So my question is, like, I really don't understand a lot about how recruiters work and all that, but do recruiters specialize in certain professions? So for example, I want to break into project management or become an assistant project manager or a project coordinator. What would you recommend for me if I wanted to use a recruiter to get the most, bang for my effort?
Think from the funnel I shared with you. So think sector, then industry, and then your title. So for me, a lot of my experience has been on the public and private sector in tech and healthcare and in retail. So I did a stint at Macy's and I've done a lot of tech work as well. And I've worked with the CDC as well. So for me, I have to pick one of those where, either it was more fulfilling, it was more meaningful, I made more of an impact. So most recruiters, you'll see retail recruiter, you'll see tech recruiter, you'll see healthcare recruiter. So for you first, think of, okay, where do I want to leverage my project management skills? I think because Kelly told me that banking and finance, healthcare, and tech are where the money's being funded, I'm going to go with 3 of these. So now let me find a headhunter who is skilled in these areas, right? And so I would think like that first and find someone that can show you, results, and they've helped people because they have knowledge and they'll, if they're doing like they're supposed to be doing, they'll have connections and networking with different firms and agencies. So I know different executive firms because a lot of my clients want to get into consulting, right? And so I work with some of those agencies and firms, and you ask questions. What have you done in the past? Who have you worked with? Can you share with me some of the results? What is your success rate? So you interview them just like they interview you. Was that Jennifer?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I see a lot of questions in the chat. We'll get them, I promise.
We don't have any more hands up, so if you'd like to go to the chat, Kelly, we have a question all the way at the top that started with Lindsay.
Okay.
Can you see them, or do you need, or if Lindsay, if you want to come off mute, even that's okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that. The reason I've been mostly chatting is because my cat has suddenly decided to be very loud for the last 10 minutes. So, the first one, I wrote 3 questions. I
Okay.
think the later 2 might be the more relevant to everybody. Mine's just very specific.
Mhm.
So I'll jump to like the second question I asked,
Mhm.
about job titles. So let's say, we're applying for a job title that's statistical programmer, and they had the same responsibilities and qualifications that you currently had for serving, which is, let's say, health scientist or epidemiologist or statistician.
Mhm.
But the job titles, because the two between how you serve the job title you have will be different than the job titles that you'll be applying for.
Mhm.
Is it okay to subtly like revise or put parentheses about what our job titles are? Like, say, instead of putting health scientist, you put what could be aligned with what you're trying to go for, which is statistical programming or research. Is it, or say like statistician, is it okay to, how would you subtly put that in? Because this has happened in a company that I have applied for, that the reason I made it through the first stage is because I put that in their job title with my current job title, because
Mhm.
AI screen tool you looked at the job titles to determine experience.
Smart girl. Smart girl. I love it, Lindsay. Absolutely. Because people get fearful, and I've heard it for years. And I don't want to change it. I don't want to lie. I don't want to embellish. You can speak to it in your interview. You can share that, right? You can tell the truth. You can say, if you're asked, and guess what? 99.8% of the time, they're not going to ask you about your job title. They're going to ask you about the body of work you've been responsible for underneath that role. So good job, Lindsay, for doing that. You got the interview because you read the room. You looked at the job description, you looked at the company. This is what they call it. That's the language they speak. And every company has their own jargon. When you go to Greece, when you go to Italy, when you go to Spain, we go to Puerto Rico, they have a language, right? You have to speak, you have to use Google what? What is it called? Drop it in the chat. It's called Google what? You use that to what? All you're doing is translating it. You're not lying, you're not embellishing it. You're translating so that it fits with the company. Good job, Lindsay. Great job. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Bree. Oh, that was
Yeah.
earlier.
And one more, and there's another, maybe just as relevant for everybody, or maybe not, or maybe it's just for my case. So I've been able to go back and forth between private and federal service. And for the past 3 years, I've been in federal service. And I've been fortunate in those 3 years to receive promotions in the short time I've been there. And I'm grateful for that experience. However, when I try to shorten it to say 1 page, you would think because I only have room for those 3 roles and nothing for my private service, a recruiter could easily read that, or a hiring manager could read that and only read that I only have federal service and not private service. And it's not retail like Macy's or Nordstrom. I worked in ICF and I worked in DLH as contracting and statistical programming roles. So for someone like me, is it appropriate to try to reduce it 1 page when, if I were to do that, you would only think I had federal service?
I would say instead of a webpage, do a portfolio where you put in all your work, project-based, right? The projects, because all of us work on projects. When we're working, it's a project that we're working on. We don't think of it as such. We think of it as going into work, doing our routine task. But if you think about it, it's a project that you've been working on. And so you would benefit from a portfolio, Lindsay, because you have that mix. So I call that a hybrid resume, where you want it to probably be functional based versus chronological, where you're putting in where you work based off of the dates. If that's something you want me to take a look at, let me drop my link and we can take a look at it. If you want me to kind of assess and see the best way to structure and organize your experience, we can do that if you're interested. But I think you're thinking right. And a portfolio, because it's digital, it's similar to a website, but it shows your projects again and the impact that you've been able to make on those projects and the work from public and private. So
Thank you so much, Kelly.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Kelly, we have another, I don't see any hands raised yet. So we have another question. The next one up is, from Dana about looking for understanding strategies for looking for jobs. I don't know if you see that on your, and if not, I could read it for you.
Dana, I'd love to better understand strategies for looking for jobs. What search engines, job boards, networking platforms do you suggest? When does working with a recruiter headhunter make sense? Complement other efforts in job searching? That's a great question. Well, first I'll lead by saying that Samira has, she voluntold me to do a session on job searching. I'm not sure of the date we have, but that's coming up inside the community. If you're not inside of Samira's community, she's going to drop her link. Make sure you get inside, because I do these sessions all the time. They're absolutely free. You guys, as long as you're in the community, you get to join. But to answer your question, Dina, I love the fact that you're thinking about it strategically, because all job boards, what do they say, are not equal, right? And they're not designed for everyone in what you do. If you know exactly where you want to go, and it's okay if you don't, you want to find those job boards. Here's a clue, write this down. People pay me a lot of money for what I'm about to tell you. If you put in the word, I think most of you all are in healthcare. If you put the word healthcare in Google, so put healthcare and then put the word job boards, 2 words, healthcare, job boards, nurse, job boards, program analyst, job boards. You name it, you'll find it. What's going to happen, Google's going to give you a list of those. So I would go to the specialized job boards, number 1. Number 2, go to the company website, you all. There will be, again, a lot of people that are building their database with your information. We are in the age of data. You will have fake recruiters out there, and all they're doing is building a database so that whenever a company is looking for something, they can say, oh yeah, I have Bree's information. She's one of my clients, and they have your resume because you sent it. I want you to hold that near and dear to you. That's your IP, that's your intellectual property. Those are your assets. What do assets do? What do? They appreciate over time. These are things you worked for, you accumulated over time. Your career is gold. They only hire people with skill sets. Mark Zuckerberg has hired 13 people and paid them $1 million each. Never unheard of, because of their specialized skill. Long answer to your question, but hold everything that you've acquired and you've learned over the years, hold it near and dear to you. Don't just hand it out willy-nilly and get in desperation mode. If you have time right now, get strategic, like Dina's saying. Go to the Google and put that in, put your list of job boards, make sure they're real jobs, right? Real companies. In the URL, there's when you see the URL, right, of a website, there's 3 little dots, click on it. And it should say connection secure. It should always have a HTTPS. There's a lot of craziness going on. So I want you all to be safe out there. Dina, what else did you say? When does working with a recruiter head? I think that's a personal decision. If you think about it, I'm from Chicago, right? Illinois. Michael Jordan had a coach, right? He's good at what he's doing. Tiger Woods, they have a coach. Tom Brady, I love football. He had a coach. Serena Williams. So you think about it. I'm good at what I do. I have a lot of experience and talent and skills, but I may need someone that is, an expert in this field. Right? Because we all think that we can do it, and we probably can. But when you want fast track, when you want to get results, if you want to leverage someone's decades in a certain area, if I wanted to learn about what you did, I'm going to go to you and pay you because you've been doing it, and I can learn what you do in, I don't know, a couple months or however long, when it took you 30 years, right? So if you want to fast track results, definitely think about that. It just depends on where you are, though. Hey, Dina, there you are. You popped up. Okay, let's see. Question from Jeff.
Maybe for me, actually. Yeah, you got that.
Yeah. What is the difference between working with a recruiter for a specific company versus a recruiter that is working independently? What is the difference between working with a recruiter for a specific, a recruiter that works for Coke versus a recruiter just working with any company, you mean? Oh, so I think you're thinking about in-house and agency, Jeff. I don't know if Jeff can type. So an agency recruiter, I'm assuming this is what you mean, Jeff. An agency recruiter works for often they're on commission. They have a base and commission. So they get hired and they get paid off of positions they fill. I've never been a fan. I did it a couple, when I first started, but back in the day, it was super cutthroat. They would steal your candidates. You walk away from lunch and they'll grab your resumes, all that. So I always was in-house. So the difference is, one, if you're being paid off of how many people you hire, how serious are you about the person's needs? Yes, you can probably get them a job, right?
Oh.
But think about it. You don't want to be in this position again. So that's where strategy comes in. Because if you just want a job, you can do that. You can drive Amazon Flex trucks if you just want a job. But if you want to do meaningful, impactful, fulfilling work that also compensates you, for sure, we want to think about our next move. So an agency recruiter, number one, commission-based, they have a base and commission off of hires. Often they're working with different clients. When you're an agency, and I'm talking about independently, Jeff, to align it to what you said. So they may be working with Coke and UPS and Starbucks and this company as well. And so they're throwing out the resume. Nothing's wrong with that, because at the end of the day, you want to get working. Nothing's wrong with that. In-house recruiters, we have a set of what we call requisitions, where we're working with a specific, like at Microsoft, I work with engineering and ops. That's all I did was engineering and ops. That's all I did, right? So I know, and the reason for that is I know the programming languages. I know exactly what they're looking for, how many years they should have, what type of projects they should have worked on, right? The CDC, I was working in inventory and I was hiring inventory managers. I know exactly what they should know. I had military vets that would come in and work for the CDC. I knew what questions to ask, and I knew exactly how they should respond, because I was a master in that space. So hopefully that helped, Jeff. Bree said, I don't apply directly on Indeed. Good girl, yeah. Addie says same, and there's other listings. Good. Can you answer the AI question before? Okay, John, I think I came back. Hey, Christina, I'm looking forward to connecting. Hello. Tailoring, Christina said that. Lindsay, did I answer this one, Lindsay? I think you came online. Did I get this one?
Yeah, you answered like the bottom two, because the first one was just the first question I asked was just very specific to mine. But if I could take this time, maybe ask, I don't know, again, if anybody could be in this situation like I have. So while I was working, I also was going for my doctorate, and I recently got my PhD. And so one of the misalignments I tend to have, and this came from recruiters, and I had to clarify from recruiters who reached out to me or hiring managers, is that while I was going to school, was that paid experience, was like, say, was that part of your research? And it wasn't. They were just paid work experience. I was working while going for my degree. And this actually came up, and for one company, it was ultimately denied because it was not considered postdoctoral. So I was denied even though I objectively had that work experience while having a degree. So I'm wondering, how do you make it as clear as possible that you had both work experience and a recently minted degree?
You definitely can put it on your CV, on your resume, but I think the best way is once you get on a call, because you can explain it better than what it looks like on paper, because people will have their own interpretation or perception of what it is, what you did, and the impact or lack thereof. So I feel more comfortable with you explaining it to someone on a call. So get the call, right? Get past the gatekeeper, which is 9 times out of 10 is going to be the recruiter. Then when you get into those high-stake conversations with stakeholders and decision makers, you can talk through some of the things that you've done. I think that's the best way. So there's no misinterpretation of what you did, how you did it, why you did it, and all the things.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? You guys are active in the chat. You're welcome, JM. I see you. Thank you. How do recruiters and companies view folks who may be enrolled in professional degree programs? If the degree program is highly relevant to the industry and solely in even, is it a deterrent? No, that's not a deterrent. That's a good thing because it shows continuous learning, right? And especially if you've been impacted by what's happening with layoffs, a lot of decision makers, they'll want to know, okay, so what have you been doing with your time? Especially if that gap starts to widen, which, you know, we don't want that. But if it does, you want to be able to show that you have continuous learning, you are focused on, you know, what next looks like for you, and you'll be able to speak to that. But if you are not doing anything, and kudos to all of you that are on this call just to get information, that's something that you can talk about. So it's not a deterrent at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Karina, did we answer your question about the funnel? So sector, industry, title. I think Bree got it. Okay. Jonathan, I don't have a button to raise my hand. My question is this: I'm in a marketable field, auditing, and I have, can y'all hear me? I have certifications that are translatable to the private sector. Okay. My resume does highlight my accomplishments. If I were, is that you, Jonathan?
Yes. That is my question.
Okay.
So the advice I keep hearing from my wife and from people that I network with is that I should look for one thing a day that I can do to improve my applications. The problem I'm having is that I'm not getting feedback. Early on, after the April 1st RIF, I had 7 final round interviews in rapid succession, and all of the jobs were either frozen or they chose another candidate. Suddenly I'm going through a slump, and I'm trying to figure out what I could do to improve my applications.
I love that. That's such a great question. And first of all, we never want to go against what the wife says, right? Never want to do that.
Amen to that.
We don't want to do that. What you could do, Jonathan, if were there some of those interviews, were they panel or individuals, most of them? Do you remember?
Most of them were panel interviews.
Perfect. I love that. So think about those interviews and who you kind of got a feeling, right, of who you kind of built, even though it was a short time, a rapport with. You know, you'll have some that'll have the poker face because that's what we're taught to do, but there'll be some that they'll nod when you're talking, or you got a good, you know, just good energy or something there. I say that because you can go back. I'm not sure how long ago your interviews were, and connect with them on LinkedIn, right? And I tell everybody this after your interviews, whether you get the job or not, if there was somebody there that it felt, you know, good rapport, connect with them. Even if you feel like it wasn't a good rapport, connect with them on LinkedIn. Because here's what happens, and it's happening now. Some of those people that you interviewed there are no longer in that company, or they moved on to other companies, and they'll remember you and say, you know what, I wanted to, you know, I was in favor of you getting this opportunity, but we had to go with the majority. And there were, you know, one other person who felt like you didn't have the skills in XYZ. What you can say is once you connect, they accept the request. Hey, I don't know if you remember me, you know, I interviewed for it, so I appreciate, you know, the opportunity to interview. Had a question just for feedback and for, as I move forward, any feedback that you can offer. A lot of times they will provide you with that feedback. That's a way to get feedback. So first, connect with the people that you interview with, whether you get the job or not. Second, if you don't, and if you do, you can send a follow-up. Just thought we'd connect here. I appreciate the opportunity. Any feedback as I continue on in my job hunt. All of them won't, but some of them will. Some of them will. I do that. If somebody takes that time and they really want to know, I'll give them that feedback. So that will help you with your resume. I'd be interested to also know, Jonathan, the types of roles you're applying to, because what happens often, people think about their job title and they'll plug that into job boards, and then they'll apply for those jobs. And again, we talked earlier about leaving opportunities on the table because it may not be called this over here in this company, what it was called where you were working. And so there's a lot that goes into this. You know, I work with people to think about, okay, am I applying to a global company and I've never had global experience? So if I've worked for a nonprofit and now I was a director of ops at nonprofit, for example, if I were, and now I want to be a director of ops at Google, what do you think a recruiter would think? Do I have that global enterprise-wide experience? Did I just apply because of the title? So when you think about it like that, your job search strategy changes. Doesn't mean that you can't pursue those opportunities, but you may have to take an adjacent role to the role that you want. Sometimes you take a step back. I did that in order to get to where I want. So hopefully that helps you, Jonathan, in kind of thinking about your job search strategy.
Tremendously. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, do you have like a template for resumes? So yesterday I shared my resume with a company and LinkedIn. They said we're hiring, you can share a resume. So I did that. And one of the recruiters got back to me and they say that my resume has some faults. And they said that I should contact one of these companies that create resumes. I have to pay for it and all of that. I'm wondering, one, if this is true, and two, if I should pay someone to change my resume, or if you guys have like a template that I could use to maybe, you know, make this better. I don't know.
I'll have to see. One thing I can tell you, the 2-column resume, that's really hard for an applicant tracking system to read. It goes through, and people have gotten calls from it. But when you think about the machines, think about this. How do we read as people? We read left to right, right? So if it's reading like this is just for my 2-column people. Sometimes when we get it from the applicant tracking system, it's garbled because it couldn't figure out what it's reading. So that's one way to think about your resume. The other thing is we want to stay clear and not clever. Clear and clever. Clear and not clever. So we don't need all the pictures, all the colors, all the things, just clear. Give me impact. Black and white doesn't have to be fancy. So long answer to your question, we do not have them now, but Samira will have some templates that you can use if you're in the community. I think she dropped her link. Make sure you're in the community because I'll give them to her you guys can use those. That's fine. But if you're doing it on your own, just think clear. Just I'm not going to look at the colors. I'm not going to look at how fancy it is. It has to be clear and not cluttered, clear and not clever.
Thank you so much.
All right, my friend, you're welcome. Did I miss anything?
We have another hand. Santos has raised his hand again.
Hey, Santos.
Hey, Chris, Leah, sorry if I butchered your name, but you had your hand first, so go ahead.
Don't worry, I just asked my question, so you're good.
Oh, okay. So the conversation about reaching people through LinkedIn, what are your thoughts around that, and how should we approach that tactic? Because I've probably messaged around 30, 40 people in the industry that I feel are related to what I want to do next. But I probably only received one response back. And I can see that some of them have read my message, but they haven't, responded to it. Is there like a strategy around how to reach directly at people through LinkedIn to just learn more about their careers and where they work and so on?
So not just recruiters, just peers or people that are in a space that you want to work in, you mean?
Correct.
Lead with value is what I say, because especially for recruiters all day long, I think I have, I don't know, thousands of people just saying, can you get me a job? So we're human as well, and we get that all the time. Imagine if you looked at my profile and you saw I have the purple hiring thing on there, and I'm hiring project managers in the Virginia area, and you said, hey, Kelly, saw that you're hiring. I have, 3 people that have recently been impacted by layoffs. Happy to connect you with them. You're helping me, right? So you're leading with value. If you want to send an article to a peer, maybe someone you worked with, and this is a part of a networking strategy, you can say, I saw that, Coca-Cola is now moving into the Asian area. Here's an article. If you're speaking to a leader or a stakeholder or something like that, lead with value. Lead with value. If you want to do a 15-minute coffee chat with someone, give them a reason to want to get on the phone or a Zoom call or a Teams meeting with you, not because you want something, right? How many of us know that it doesn't feel good when someone always is taking from us, even though you don't have bad intent, but just think about human behaviors and yourself as a whole, not you, Santos, but all of us, right? It's better received if you're leading with value. Would love to get, and people like to talk about themselves. So I would love to get to know more about you and how did you do that at I see the great work you're doing over there in Coca-Cola. Would love to buy you a cup of coffee. You can do it virtually. Send them a $10 Starbucks thing. I mean, we got to get creative, right, out there. So those are just some things, Santos, that you could do.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bree, did we get you? Is that too much to ask for, Kelly? Meaningful? No, it's not too much. You're funny. Did I miss anyone, Samira? I think we're
Did you
coming
get
up on
Sophie's
time.
question? I just want to make sure I saw that was right after my comment.
Sophie, did I
If
miss?
you already have applied to X number of jobs unsuccessfully, that your future application would be ignored or deprioritized. Is this true?
Honest answer is we used to, let me read it again. Let me make sure I'm answering my question.
Question was, I've heard that for certain companies, if you have already applied to X number of jobs unsuccessfully, that your future application would be ignored or deprioritized.
It is true. I'll tell you what we do. So when we look you up, let's say I look up Samira and Samira sent me an email. Hey, Kelly, I recently applied to the director of public health role and just want to know if you received my application. So I go in and I looked at her resume. I'm like, oh, she's good. Let me go find her in the tracking system. And I look and I see she's applied for 15 different positions. And again, doesn't make it true. And I'm telling you how I'll say we think. Desperation, desperate. If you're applying to everything, you're not qualified for everything. You're not qualified for everything. Now, if it's one role that you've applied for over the years, right? If it's a whatever role and you come back in 2022 and in 2024, now it's 2025, that's different. But if you're applying to different roles and we see on your profile, this person doesn't even know what they're good at. That's the perception that we have. So that's your call to think about it, because this is how decision makers and recruiters, you want to get past the recruiter. You want to get past us because we're just the gatekeepers. And you want someone to open that gate for you. We're just the gatekeepers to make sure that you fit, your salary's in alignment, you have the required, not the preferred, all the things that the hiring manager wants. And then you go to the real thing. But we're just the gatekeepers. Get past us. Do everything you can to get past the gatekeeper. What else we got?
We got a question. I think the next one I'm seeing from Don, do you have to be on LinkedIn to get a job? I froze my account after the new administration started.
You don't have to be, but Don, I want you to think about whenever you get ready to go, you want to, somebody to do your hair. Maybe you're new in town. You're going to go and look at the Google reviews. You're going to look at Yelp. Whenever you go to a restaurant, you're going to see what the stars, what the reviews are. When you go to Amazon and you look at the reviews, you want to buy something, you look at the reviews to see what people say. As recruiters, we go to LinkedIn. Has anybody endorsed you? What kind of skills do you have? What do you look like? Where do you live? When was the last time you were working? Are you still working? Have you taken care of your career? Do you even care? Have you updated? When was your last activity on LinkedIn? This is how we review. You're the product, right? Just like Amazon has a product, you're the product. Your skill set, your experience, your talent, we're buying that product from you. So our review is to go on LinkedIn. That's your digital presence, because we have the piece of paper because you applied. So to answer your question, you don't have to be, But in the age of the workforce that we're in now, it is very beneficial and it will be to your advantage to have a digital presence. And you monitor and you manage what you put on there. You can determine what you put on there.
We have a hands up, Kelly, from Adrian. I know we're getting close to the end, so I want to make sure we get.
Yes.
Hey, Adrian.
Hi. Thanks for answering all these questions. I did have a follow-up question to your last to the last question. So you said if a recruiter sees that we've applied to, multiple jobs, if they're aligning with the same focus area, so let's say communications, social media, web development, all of those things, is that because, most of that does fall under communications. Is that something that's wrong?
No, it's not wrong. It's not.
Or is that something that's going to throw up a flag? And if it does throw up a flag, how long should we wait before we come back to that company?
It's kind of, it's a fine line. I'll say it that way, because I don't want you all to think I shouldn't apply because Kelly said this. That's not, just think about how, I'm trying to think of an analogy. Yeah, I'll just tell you what it is. If we just see a lot, just our perception, I'm not saying it's even right to do, but the perception is, well, if they applied and this recruiter, dispositioned them, that's what it's called when you get the rejection letters that other people call them. And this recruiter rejected, and this, I'm not even going to take my time. So that's the perception. Now, to your question, all of those roles, social media, communication, all of those roles are in alignment. That's for sure. And you want to think about, sometimes when you interview, they'll say, you know what, you're not a fit for this role, but we do have this role coming open. So there are adjacent roles that you can apply to. What I would do is, if you can find the recruiter, and I know that's hard to do, but maybe send a note first, just to say, I'm very interested. Make sure you're following the company on LinkedIn. I'm interested in your company and your organization, and I've applied to a few roles that are in alignment with communication. You just put it out there. Even if nobody responds, somebody's going to read it, and you can see people reading it. And I would just go and apply. Long answer to your question, but go ahead and apply if it's in the same. I don't want to tell you not to do that, because yeah, go ahead and apply.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome, hon. All right, was that helpful? Can I see some fire emojis if it was fire? This is my only metric to know if I'm doing good, y'all.
There's lots of thank yous in the chat, but we don't have emojis to share. Oh, no, wait. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Just not a fire one. Here we go.
Oh, there's no emojis. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Hold on.
I appreciate it. Now, if you want to take a deeper dive, if you want to get something tailored specifically to you based off of your skills, experience, and knowledge, again, I'll drop my information in the chat. I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one privately. Hopefully this was helpful, you all. I love doing this. And you want to make sure whenever because I know there's a lot of information out there, a lot of webinars, a lot of people saying things. Remember, make sure they have depth. They should be able to roll through a AMA, ask me anything, with no script, no presentation or anything. If they know what they're doing, if they're a master in their field, doesn't matter what they do. All right. Thank you, Christina. Christina said, well done. That's what I'm looking for. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you join the community. We're doing this all month. Don't you miss out. Don't you miss out.
Thank you. Thanks, Kelly. And I do want to just put in a plug, if you're still on the line, to join the event tomorrow. It's going to be also a really exciting, interesting one about pathway for winning federal contracts. It's something personally myself, I am very, that's where I'm focusing a lot of my energy, and I would love to share that with our former federal employees. And Paula is amazing. You'll get to meet her, and she's doing a special event just for our group. So she does this sometimes, on a weekend basis, but there was so much interest, and she's really interested in supporting this community as well. So she's holding an event just for our community tomorrow. So I really hope that you all can join. Even if you're not really sure what it's about, just join and hear. And I think you'll be really interested after you hear about what we're what we have all been missing out on.
For sure. She's my coach as well. So she's helping me with government contracts. She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal for sure. Will you share your LinkedIn profile? Yeah, absolutely. You're going to connect with me, Christina. Love that. Love that. Let me grab it. I think I have it up here. You guys have been amazing. Hang in there. You got this. We're resilient people. You got this. Okay. Everybody, we got this. We got this. There's my LinkedIn as well.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
again,
Bree.
Kelly. And thank you for organizing Samrina. Sorry, I used to work with Samira.
You're welcome, Bree. No, it's great to see familiar names and faces.
Good to see you again.
I like that watch, Bree. I got to get one. I keep saying that, but I don't want to spend any money.
Oh, I didn't. It's super cheapo.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
didn't know if I would wear it. I wanted to actually wear a watch again after decades.
Yeah, I don't wear anything, but I need to track my stuff. All right, you guys. Thank you. Thanks,
All
Samir.
right, take care.
Bye.